Hey guys, welcome to another trade review. So in this segment, we're going to be going over all the trades I took, or maybe not all the trades, but majority of the trades in which I took, and look for my mistakes. We're going to be reviewing, areas in which there could have been potential profit, and come up with new strategies. See what else I can do differently to improve my trading skills here. If you guys happen to find something in which I could have potentially missed, then go ahead and comment it below, and I'd love to review those things and hopefully go over them in the next episode. But with that being said, let's go ahead and jump right in. Like, I could take an entry here, I just don't feel comfortable with how low that opened. I feel like it's gonna be a false break. No, I was completely wrong then. So that was a pretty good potential entry. So coming into ATER, it was in the middle of this 2-candle pullback in which I thought, I think this thing's just going to tank. I think it's because the previous week it had made a really bad move to the downside as well. And I think I might have glanced at the 10-minute, but I'm not going to go that measure and say that's what happened. Most likely I was just staring at the 1-minute here. I didn't like how low it opened, which actually didn't open low. It opened above the previous candle, so for some reason, I believed it opened low, but the biggest mistake here was not looking at, I guess, where the VWAP was. So the $half and whole dollar areas are actually major resistance levels usually. Like, they're very hard to break through, or they have some sort of resistance there or support. In this case, it would have been support for me. I have not only the VWAP here, but I also have the $half. So that's really significant. And knowing that it was holding in these past 2 candles, it actually didn't break below. That should have been a huge sign. Hey, take the trade and take position on the next 1-minute candle, regardless of where it opens. Well, actually, where it opens doesn't matter. But obviously this one opened pretty high, and now, as you can see, it went from 1360 all the way to 14 basically. And I missed this entire move. A 40-cent move like that would have been $130 profit for me if I took the smallest share size of 300 shares, right? So this was a beyond obvious move. I didn't take it. That was completely my fault there. I saw the setup, but like I mentioned in the video, I hesitated because I thought it was opening low, and I'm sure I just wasn't convinced, especially with the drop that it had the previous week. I felt even more hesitant to take the trade. I'm gonna buy in here at 11.96 for the break at 12.09. Just sold it right there. Oh, what am I doing? What am I doing? Oh my god, I just I just completely forgot my overall strategy for the 5-minute break. Oh, that's so stupid. Whatever. So coming into this next trade on ALT, my overall target prior to even looking at the 1-minute was, going based off the 5-minute. So the 5-minute had an obvious setup. It was clear to break and continue higher, potentially to even 13, I'd say. But I guess my short-term target would have been 1250, somewhere around there, 1225, 1230. Coming into these quarter levels, that was my potential target prior to me selling on the 1-minute. Even on the 1-minute, it didn't break significantly until I sold. I sold right here at this high, which really wasn't that much of a break off the previous 1-minute high. So all this hesitation, I'm trying to sell. I was looking for a bigger rip in a short period of time, but I think that's a problem. Is not only did my goal change, like I went based off the 1-minute instead of the 5-minute, but I'm also selling way too quick. Yes, I got the break here, and that's what I was looking for. However, I also didn't sell too much into the move either. Like, it obviously went to 1225 there, and I could have made way more profit. But here I go, I sell like right here at this previous 1-minute high when I could have held a little longer and sold at 1220. So that's another problem, is right when I see that it's going to break a whole dollar or $half, comes into a resistance area, I usually tend to sell. Or if it's even coming up to this, previous high break, I tend to sell right at the break or a little under the break. just because I hesitate and I don't want to hold the position. So that's definitely something I need to work on. So there's the break. There's 30, 35, 38. There's 41 now. Okay, so now we're going to see a rip to the $0.50. If this can actually break through the $0.50, it's looking even better. I would like to see a pullback though. I think I'm just going to wait it out and wait for another pullback entry. Really clean break through VWAP though. That held and everything. That was a perfect entry I had, and I sold too quick. So shortly after that trade, which I sold pretty short on, ALT makes another move. Now this climb was kind of, I don't want to say an obvious climb, but it was making higher lows here. It wasn't breaking lower. It hadn't broken the whole dollar yet, and it was kind of holding its level. It double topped here, rejected this 1225 level about 2 times, and here's a third one. So that made me hesitant to even bother taking the trade. However, it was still needing to break significantly on the 5-minute, and the next 10-minute was going to open here pretty soon. So as long as it held over VWAP, it was still looking pretty good, which it was. So my position should have been even here at 1225, taking this high here for the break of the double top that we had just seen. So you can see there, a whole lot of buying volume comes in. Next thing you know, it breaks to 38. Then we see it in the 40s here shortly. And we even get the rip through 1250 all the way to 1260, I believe, in this one candle. This would have been a perfect opportunity to take an entry here. It finished high. It finished, perfectly. Everything was looking good on it. For some reason, I just decided not to take it because I thought it was too extended off of VWAP. I wanted to see another pullback. It rejected this level twice, and I just, bailed on my position. I'm going to take an entry here at 50. There's 44. Okay, I'm selling. So just sold it right there. Stopped out. It was probably a bad entry, but that's all right. It's still pulling back, so nothing too crazy. Oh, not yet, actually. Take our entry here. See if we can get a quick break. I'm in at 68. 71 on the ask. 70. 71, not breaking yet. Selling. Stopped out there again. All right, so here it clearly was not all right. For some reason, I honestly don't, I have no explanation for this trade here. If I thought, it was extended right here, I have no idea why I would have taken this trade up here. It just made 0 sense. I guess it was just a FOMO play, and I was just looking for something, to catch momentum and, potentially see the break of 13 after this shortly. I guess the only thing in which came to mind was me looking at the 10 minutes. So at this point, already, 10, 11 minutes into the day here, that's when I started looking at the 10 minute and the 5 minute. I was like, oh, this thing can definitely go higher. So knowing what happened to me on this candle, I figured, oh, it might do the same on this one. Or I don't know what happened previously on ATER, how I thought it pulled back too much and it opened lower. I was like, oh, this thing can potentially, take off again. It just made this huge climb. So that's the idea I had behind it. I looked at the 5 minute, looked at the 10 minutes, and I thought the same thing. This thing can keep going. I don't know. I actually don't have an excuse for this trade. It wasn't a smart trade. Really, I should have taken my entry on this candle. Oh, well, I'm not blocking it. Okay. On this candle here, the one that just opened, because this would have been a perfect opportunity. I mean, the only thing in which I realized is it was holding 1250 on every single candle, except for this break here. Even when it broke on the candle in which I bought in on, it still popped all the way back up to around 1250, 1240. So it was holding that area. It actually wasn't even coming close to 12 or breaking lower. So as soon as it hit 1230 here, it gets bought up and it goes all the way up to a triple top here, I believe. So, a good potential entry could have been on this third candle, but, I don't want to say right idea, wrong timing. It's just wrong timing in general, not the right time to make that move, not a necessary move either. from here I could have gone for the break of this candle, which obviously in this next move that you see me take, I'm feeling a little FOMO. I want to go for the break of this triple top. I get in here for the break, looking for the break of the 5 minute as well. And obviously it rejects that level, so I have to sell short. Another problem with this area here is that I could have sold a long time ago. I wait for some reason about 18 to 20 seconds here to sell when it's stuck at 71. It's stuck there for a long time. Why am I holding it? It doesn't make any sense. And I know it might drop, but I just want to, hold it for the potential. Next thing you know, it drops. I get extremely lucky here and I'm able to sell. Same with this candle here, extremely lucky. Like this honestly could have just flushed and dropped below VWAP. I could have lost $300 instantly. So extremely lucky on my fills here. I'm surprised I didn't lose more, but I think that's another reason why I took several more trades after this, was because my loss wasn't so significant. I was getting lucky here on these fills. So, false break here wasn't the break I was looking for, and that's just the way it goes. There's the break. 15's the high. Nothing significant. 18 now. 19, 20. 23, 24. So now that's a really good break. Okay, so I should have gotten on that candle, but I just didn't like its choppiness in the beginning of that candle. I mean, it took like 18 seconds for it to actually do something. So on PALT, I was very skeptical about it. Didn't have much faith in it, if I'm being totally honest. The volume here on the 1 minute was super significant compared to the amount of volume that was here on this huge green candle. So a lot more red volume compared to green volume here. And that was already, not doing it for me. What looked good is the 10 minute though. The 10 minute looked like it could definitely break over its last high, over 622 or something, I believe. The daily was also kind of making me nervous because it already broke its high long ago. I missed the entire move here from 540. This is when it actually broke its high over 550. So I missed the move. After this huge climb here randomly, I didn't have much faith in it that it was going to hold its level. It already double topped here, triple topped, and it rejected. It pulled back, hit VWAP, but just like ALT, VWAP's here at the whole dollar. So whole dollar's there and the VWAP's there. So that's a big resistance level. This should have been an obvious play. 2 candle pullback, technically 3, I guess, with this one here being a indecisive candle. So, I mean, should have been an obvious play to take an entry here. It did take a little while, I guess, for it to actually make this move and break further. But, I mean, regardless, that should have been an obvious play. The 5 minute already broke its low and it was bouncing off of VWAP. Like that should have been a dead giveaway right there, that it could definitely break this high. It's going to retest its double top here. So, hindsight now, I wish I would have taken that trade, but I got to be more aware, I guess, of, where the VWAP is, where the whole dollar's at, and, potential entries around that area, especially with these 2 candle pullback moves here that I'm originally going for, but I hesitate when they come into play. So okay, so I'm in at 82. Got filled there. And once again I forgot about the break of 7. That's what I was overall going for, is the break of 7. That's extremely upsetting. So okay, so about 6 minutes later on the same exact stock in which I missed this move on, a similar setup comes into play. 2 candle pullback, maybe not 3 like this one, but 2 candles. I decide to take my entry here. I feel it's the perfect opportunity. I see it surging towards the last couple seconds, and my overall target would be the break of 7. I mean, it's the whole dollar. Usually they rip a little far after the whole dollar, maybe to like 715, 720, in that area somewhere. But overall, the best thing for me to do is go for the break of the 5 minute high. So that's what my overall target should have been, was the break of the 5 minute high, which was, I think it just broke here actually. It was a triple top for a second, but that quick snap to 7 and then a quick rejection was the break of the 5 minute high. So, I think I had both plays in mind, but overall I was staring at the 1 minute, so I was more focused on that. Either way, a break of the whole dollar here. Clearly it's holding its 90 level. It's not breaking lower. It didn't reject significantly, below 75 or even hit VWAP. So it's holding its level in the 90s, and we can definitely see a break over 7. I sold way too quick once again at the triple top here. Basically sold at the top, or right where these levels meet here. So I didn't really catch any break. I just caught, level with all the other ones. This ends up breaking to about 720, I believe, or 715, somewhere around there. So here's the break of 7, and it ends up riding all the way up to that level, or even higher, I think, later in the afternoon. But that's a good 30-cent profit I just missed out on. Even if this went to 710 or 720 or whatever, I would have sold short, and I did sell short because I just panicked out here. So hit the triple top, panicked, sold, and I just left money on the table. I'm gonna buy in here 500 shares with a break of 11. Selling there at 92. Well, I was going for the break of 11. It broke 11 really quick and then just dropped. So that sucks. Had to sell, really short there. All right, so the following day on PALT, we see that it's trading lower. I mean, pre-market, it had a really nice climb, honestly, but as soon as the market opened, just nothing but red volume coming in. It was, really nasty. Massive rejections, nothing was holding, and I decided to take an entry here. Very risky play. I had seen the next 5-minute open, and usually they pop a little bit before they actually, trend lower. And that's what I was going for. I was going for a break of 11 here. I was actually looking for something similar on this candle where it broke through for no apparent reason, honestly. It opened at 11 just about, and then it just ripped and then tanked. So I was looking for a similar break here. And I think this was a good entry and sell, at least. Mainly just selling my position right away. I agree with selling here just because it hit the whole dollar resistance level. And there's nothing but red volume coming in. I mean, there's so much more red volume than there is, buyers coming in. So, I mean, knowing that, also the 5-minute didn't look super good. The 5-minute obviously looked like it can trend lower. 10-minute obviously wasn't holding its level either. It looked like it can continue lower. So overall, I think this trade was a good stoppage. I think it was a necessary stoppage, and maybe not even a good position to take in general. Definitely risky. But, overall, I made about $10 profit before I lost it all at the end of the day. But either way, I think it was a good stoppage and a good trade overall. That definitely wasn't the price action yesterday. Maybe in the afternoon. I know it popped up in the afternoon yesterday. I didn't get to trade any of it. But I definitely didn't like... well, it definitely wasn't the same as yesterday. But... here it seems like there's a lot of sellers just waiting for this thing to pop just to tank it. There's a break of 11. Like, this is insane. 1060 to 1160. I never would have guessed it actually would have gone that high. That's a ridiculous move right there. So after its massive sell-off here, about 7 or 8 red candles in a row, and all the red volume kind of dying out here, it starts making a climb, and I noticed it immediately on the MACD. I noticed it, but I didn't think it was actually going to hold. I thought this was going to be such a huge false break just because of how it had 2 different false breaks here at the beginning, right at the open. Massive rejections, just disgusting. So I kind of felt if this even comes anywhere close to 11 here, which is an obvious resistance spot, like, I honestly don't think it's going to hold. So I kind of felt, yeah, it has potential. I could definitely take an entry here at 1050 and potentially, it can go to 11 or something. But I just didn't want to take that trade. I didn't want to risk it for a nasty flush all the way back down to 10 or something. So with that being said, one thing I hadn't realized was that it actually held this trend line that I drew out earlier. So it held support, fairly well. It broke through a couple times, sure. but it held its level. And I also noticed on the MACD that it was curling. You know, it was actually holding and trending up. So that should have been, you know, an obvious move even prior to its rip through 1160. uh I could have taken an entry here at 1050 for the break, and that would have been an awesome 30-cent move here to 1080. If I would have just sold right there, 30-cent move, perfect. It could have finished for the day, you know, could have moved on, could have been in the green significantly. I mean, compared to what I was already, right? $10, like, whoa, big deal. Seeing this massive climb here, though, was definitely unexpected. This was, you know, it doesn't always happen. Usually you see a rip through VWAP and then it rejects, or it kind of holds and then you see a couple candle pullbacks and then you see a rip higher. But this move was just super unexpected. Basically a triple top at this point, almost. And, you know, knowing if I would have taken my position and held the entire way, which I most likely wouldn't have, just this move in general, over $1 move here, super unexpected. Don't really know what to say about it. Just random surge in volume, and all of a sudden it gets halted. So sometimes that happens. Super extended already off of VWAP. I don't feel comfortable trading it up here yet. There's back above 13. Now it's back to 13, holding 13. See if we get a rip towards 14 here. Again, I don't feel comfortable trading it this high. Super extended right now. Now when PALT resumed here, I was not even considering taking a trade on it. Reason being was because this massive move just made no sense to me whatsoever. That, and we had so much red volume here previously, I just expected a massive sell-off right at open. It does end up selling off. However, it's still holding its 1280 level. It's still holding 1250 especially. So you can see it actually dips to 1250, breaks to 1240 for a second, back above 1250. That should have been the time in which I should have entered this trade, because after that, it doesn't break below 1250 again. It just kind of hovers around this 1260, 1280 level. And next thing you know, you see it rip to 1380. So even if I took my entry here at 1250, you know, if I ended up taking that entry, that would have been over $1 per share move. That would have been not only risky, for sure risky, but that would have been such a huge move and a massive climb in the account. One dead giveaway on this whole move, though, is that it did flash to 12. Although it's risky, it did flash to 12, but you never see it even come close to 12 afterwards. You just see it hold 1250. It's kind of holding this level, 1280 especially, and then you just see it rip through 13. So this play, although not necessarily obvious, it, you know, there was room for a potential entry around 1250. This would have been the best place. 1250, the whole dollar, and, you know, even 12 are big resistance levels. And knowing that it held 1250 as some sort of support, you know, that was just a giveaway that this could have been a massive climb above 13 with all this volatility. So here's 89, 90, 13, 15. That's the kind of rip I was looking for. So fortunately it didn't happen on the candle I was in on. Now it's going to 1350. Jeez, that sucks. All right, we can reposition though. We can get in again, and we're gonna go for the 5-minute high, which is also 1350. So we're gonna go for that break. Now for my last trade on PALT, I had just taken this trade, and this is the reason why I didn't enter on this next coming candle. I had just taken this trade looking for the break over the whole dollar, as well as the 1 minute. I'm gonna be totally honest, I was looking for the break of the 1 minute. But breaking the whole dollar overall would have been my goal, possibly to 1050, because it's holding this 1050 level, triple topped here several times. I was just looking for a quick rip to it and sell right at the 1350 level, not 1050, my bad. However, I was so focused on this move that I had just, you know, taken. It had, you know, it didn't break that level. It wasn't really holding. And knowing that this one opened lower, I was just so disappointed. I was so focused on, you know, what happened? How come it didn't break? That I missed this entire climb up here. So an awesome entry. Didn't even pull back. It just opened and started taking off. So obviously it didn't take off right away. but this was the candle in which I should have actually entered. I could have, held this position. That would have been perfectly fine. And that's, overall what I should have done was hold this position because it didn't break lower. I don't think it was a bad sell. I don't think it was a bad exit. It's just, I should have repositioned and taken another trade on this next candle. But I didn't happen to take it because I was so focused on what just happened. This is, pretty disappointing. I was looking for this exact move on the candle in which I had taken my trade, but unfortunately, this one ended up going without me. So where does that leave us now? Well, this week I finished down $175.84, which is nothing compared to my loss of last week. So last week, I don't even know how much I finished down, but I know it's probably double, if not triple that. So definitely a lot larger of a loss. However, some takeaways that we can, consider in terms of these upcoming trades, within the next couple weeks are, that I sell too quick on good positions. I don't actually, hold my position long enough for a significant break. I usually sell a little under my level, change my goal, I guess, like my overall target. I change it up and I sell under that level or sell right at that level. I never actually hold it long enough for, a significant break. So that's one thing I noticed. Second thing is I also don't stick to my plans. I don't stick to my original target, my overall goal. So if it's, the daily high break, or if it's the 10-minute high break, or, whatever the move is, I actually don't stick to it. And that's something I really need to consider doing. And the last thing is I miss opportunities because I'm waiting too long for a perfect opportunity. One thing I got to realize is that the market, it's full of different opportunities. Like there's no perfect opportunity necessarily. So I can be waiting all day for, the right, perfect entry. However, if I'm selling too quick on my perfect entry, what's a perfect entry? Like what does it matter if I'm going to sell too quick on it regardless? You know what I mean? So those are the three things in which I need to work on. Now, the strategy I developed and attempt to work on a couple of these things is to, one, be more goal oriented and either sell half of my position, after a break, or only sell my position when I hit my stop loss. Now, that's not saying if I'm 50 cents in the green, I'm going to hold it until my stop loss. Like, no, I'm going to take profits once my profit target's met. However, I should still take profit and sell half my position, so that way if it does pull back to my break even level, I can stop out, or that way I can at least be somewhat in the green to be able to stop out with a small loss compared to actually stopping out. The reason why I don't normally sell half of my position is because I don't want to take a double commission loss. That's about $5 per trade. So $5 for a buy, $5 for a sell. So if that's two sells, and that's, five, 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 that's, three different trades, $15 commissions, especially if I'm only making a small, profit, it's going to eat away at my profit here. So I got to make sure that not only am I selling half my position, but that I am also holding my position for a significant move. So that's going to, these double commissions are going to make me want to hold longer, I'm assuming, and that's why I made this, strategy in such a way. The second strategy is to focus more on support and resistance levels. So I noticed that, whole dollars, half dollars, and VWAP, I'm paying attention to them, but I'm paying more attention to VWAP than I am half dollars, whole dollars. And if I do pay attention to them, it's usually for the wrong reasons. So I'm not really looking for a break through these levels significantly. I'm usually looking for I'm freaking out or hesitating because I think they're a huge resistance level. I don't really count them as support, but I got to look more towards these areas as support than I do resistance, because if I keep looking at them in a bad way, I'm never going to want to take my trade. It's going to increase my hesitation, and my perfect trade will never happen. So that's my second strategy, what I'm going to be trying to work on this week or these upcoming weeks. Like I said, if there's anything I went over in which I could have missed, or you guys saw that I could improve on, be sure to comment down below, and I'd love to review it. I'd love to see what you all have to say, and hopefully I can work on all those things as well. I can go ahead and review them for the next trade review. But until next time, I'm going to go ahead and end it here. I also want to apologize to you guys for not coming out with this a lot sooner. I didn't expect to have such a busy schedule this weekend, so unfortunately it's coming out pretty late. However, I did promise you guys I was going to come out with it, so here we are. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed your weekend. I'll go ahead and tune in tomorrow, and we'll see what the market has for us. See you guys later.